100%. I think that everybody,
Interesting.
I love the way that you said that everybody has to go through the darkness to see the light. And that's so true. And I think that even when in business, like yourself, you were on the phones at one point, you were doing the tough work to be able to get to the point where you're at.
Oh yeah.
And it's just those things where you have to go through hard struggles to be able to actually like have that fire to be able to, get to the next level. If it's all dandelions and rainbows, you're not going to be as motivated. When you see some crap in your life, when you see some shit, then you're actually going to be motivated a lot harder to be able to get out of that.
What up? Here with my guy, Jake Rath. How we doing, brother?
Living the dream. How about yourself?
Dude, doing phenomenal. So, bro, I got to give you a proper intro because your social media is absolutely popping. But today's guest, founder of Rathletics, co-owner of Stride Social, and an entrepreneur building an intersection of fitness, community, business, from coaching and content to large-scale events, creator, and monetization. Jake has built a name by helping people not just look better, but live a more disciplined, confident, and connected life. Welcome to the podcast.
I love it. Thank you so much. Appreciate you having me.
Dude, absolutely. So tell us, for the audience, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing.
Yeah, my name is Jake Rath. I'm 24 years old, freshly. Just moved here from South Florida. Lived there for a little bit. I'm originally from Nashville, Tennessee. Grew up in Nashville almost my whole life. Went to University of Tennessee, played rugby, and then moved down to Fort Lauderdale. Lived there for a couple of years. Kind of dipped my toes into the Tampa life while living in St. Pete, and then just moved over to Tampa about 2 months ago. And man, I tell you, Tampa is a wonderful place.
There's a lot of people moving here.
Yeah.
We moved down here, I told you, 9 months ago from Chicago, and bro, we love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. The community, the people, the energy.
It reminds me a lot of like Nashville, but on the water.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a very popping city. It's funny. I saw a thing on Instagram the other day. It said the top 2 cities in America to live in, Nashville and Tampa. And I'm like, bang, we did it. Like it was like the top 2 cities.
I would agree with that because it's got that Southern hospitality, Midwestern feel.
It does.
You got that wholesome feel.
Absolutely.
But in paradise.
Dude, you can't beat the beach here.
Yeah.
You can't beat the beach. And just Florida weather in general, like people are freezing up in Nashville right now. So it's like, it's just pretty calm down here right now.
Dog, I'm from the north. Nashville is paradise compared to how cold it gets where I'm from.
You're from like the tundra.
Got that I got that Viking in me.
Exactly.
So I like the sunshine and I like warm weather. You cannot pay me enough to move back.
You can't beat it over here, man.
Yeah, I see my buddies and they send me videos and it's just like they walk outside and it's 15 degrees, blizzarding. You got this much snow on the ground.
It couldn't be me.
I'm just like,
it couldn't be me.
No thanks. No thanks. Dude, talk to us about Stride Social, because I see you on social media.
Yeah.
Dude, you're doing these raves, you're running. Bro, you got Waka Flocka on stage.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
So Stride Social started about 2 years ago in South Florida, in Fort Lauderdale. I was a server at a restaurant, and I'm sitting there, and one of these guys comes up to me. He's like, hey, would you want to come out to my run club? I was like, sure, I'd love to come out, come check it out, pull up to the run club. Super fun environment. It was my first time at a run club. And I'm like, okay, cool. I really like this social environment. Very social guy, love meeting cool people. And so I was like, okay, how can I sponsor this with my personal training company? So I started sponsoring it. And next thing you know, I like started leading the runs and like leading the warm-ups and like kind of being like that guy on stage. And then that led me into eventually taking over an ownership position within the run club. And then we started expanding nationally really quick. So I went from Fort Lauderdale to Nashville, where I'm from. We brought it to my hometown. My cousin is the GM at Barstool in Nashville. So we brought it there, started expanding pretty fast. And Nashville was a hit city because there's not really a bunch of wellness markets in Nashville.
Yeah.
Compared to South Florida that, you have all these other run clubs, all these other wellness events and stuff. And so we brought it to Nashville, super successful in Nashville. And then we ended up bringing it to Jacksonville. That's where one of our co-owners lives now. And then now we're in Tampa. And I came up here for a run club here in Tampa back in July and absolutely fell in love with it. Our first event here had over 250 people at American Social and just had an absolute blast. I was like, all right, I love this city. I met the Julian Jacob Natcherson, and Julian Massera. I met those guys and just like fell in love with the city. And they're like, yo, you should move up here. And I was like, all right, let's do it. Moved up here, shot my shot, and next thing you know, it was the best decision I ever made. I just fell in love with the city so much. Like I said, it's like Nashville on the water. Kind of gives me that little piece of home. And so it's been great, man. I love it. Stride's been expanding out, doing some cool stuff. Like you said, Waka Flocka. So my co-owner, his name is Norman. He is actually Waka's trainer. They live together in Miami right now. They live at the Flow Miami building.
Fire.
Yeah, so they're living down there together. Waka owns an app called Get Better.
Okay.
And they sponsor our events. And basically they bring them out to our events with us. And dude, it was a blast. We did one massive event in Nashville with him and a couple others in different locations, but Nashville hit like crazy. We had over 1,000 people shut down Broadway, running full speed down the road. It was like my dream come true for me to be able to see that in my hometown, you know, where we go out and have fun, do whatever. And then just to see like a health and fitness scene there and just see so many happy people from, you know, my high school. I saw kids from my elementary school. I saw one of my old teachers there, you know, and like my neighbors and like my family even came. It was just like so cool and wholesome to really see like all those people, and obviously Waka Flocka threw down too. So with that all being said, you know,
to your old teacher running with Waka Flocka, I told you I was going to be successful.
Yeah, exactly. No, dude, I was a shithead in high school growing up. I tell you what, it was ADHD out the ass. So
yeah,
to say the least. So sorry, can I cuss on the podcast?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool, that's awesome. But yeah, no, it's kind of crazy to go from that to now actually doing something, using my ADHD to my advantage.
How'd you lock in the deal with Waka Flocka?
Yeah, with Get Better, his app. And so we started sponsoring with Get Better. We basically have everybody at our events download Get Better. Get Better was his app that he invested in. And so he'd just pull up to the events, and, you know, took that first event. He came out and he
well, like how'd you establish that relationship though?
Well, he came out to the event, with Get Better.
Yeah.
So Norman is just one of those guys where he's always just like, you know, talks to anybody, and his first thing's like, how can I get this involved with Stride? And me too, you know, but Norman's really good at it. And he met this guy named Nicky who owns Get Better, and he was like, hey, we'd love to work with you. Nicky loved the idea. He was like, what if I brought out Waka Flocka? And Norman's like eyes blew up. He's like, let's do it. So Waka came out to the event and he like loved it. I gotta say, a lot of people ask me like, you know, who's your favorite celebrity? Waka Flocka, hands down. Coolest, most wholesome person you ever met in your entire life. And like, he actually is just like such a fun like person to be around. He's just like a genuinely cool dude. And he was like, I love this. He's like, he does like all these like, you know, concerts and stuff all the time, but this is like something different where it's like around wellness and health and like taking care of your body. So he's been partying his whole life, and he kind of likes the whole holistic medicine and stuff like that, and coming back to, you know, real life and being healthy. And, you know, that's something that he's been very passionate about. So it's pretty cool to be able to have him involved with Stride, and he loves it. So he keeps coming out to our events with us.
Let's go. That's sick. How often do you guys do the events?
Once every 2 weeks. So yeah, we have an event this coming weekend.
I was gonna say it's
so we did back to back for March Madness. We're calling it. We're just doing back to back weekends. We got some cool stuff. So we have a run and rave this weekend. So we do like run and raves. I love the music scene. I love festivals. I love like, you know, DJs, EDM music and stuff like that. And so I travel around the world doing, you know, different stuff like that. And being able to host a run and rave is like the best of both worlds. I love fitness. I love music.
Yeah.
How can I bring it together? So we found run and raves, and it has been such a success. You know, there's all these like, you know, different nightlife scenes and stuff like that for music, but the daytime scene is such a, you know, fun environment to be able to have, especially when you can involve fitness into it. And it's the future, man. Health and wellness. Everybody wants to take care of their bodies. You know, the alcohol scene's going down, and like, you know, people still want to dance and like, you know, go have fun. So like, that's what we're able to provide.
And socialize.
Exactly. Socialize. Get out of the house. A lot of people don't really understand like the in-person factor of life anymore. And like, everybody's kind of like, you know, just liking each other's pictures and DMing and like texting and stuff like that. It's like, get out of the house. Go to a social environment. Go meet people in person. You know, you don't have to go out to bars and clubs to be able to do that. You actually have other opportunities now with like, you know, there's tons of run clubs there. There's entrepreneurial events like, you know, Tampa entrepreneurs down here, and just getting out of the house. And, you know, anything I can give, you know, for like a good excuse for somebody to get out of the house, you know, I think it's a great opportunity to go meet new people.
Man, dude, I love what you're doing. And you, to your point, drinking is all-time low because people are realizing how bad it is for you. Still want to have fun. In correlation with that, anxiety and loneliness is an all-time high. people have more social anxiety than ever. People are more antisocial than ever, and people are meeting less, where it's almost like this weird culture now where dudes are afraid to hit on girls, or afraid, like, people are afraid to talk to new people. So doing events like this, I think it's phenomenal, man.
You ever heard
And there's a very high need for it.
when you talked about the dudes are afraid to hit on girls, you ever heard the 5% thing? Where
No.
it's like 5% of the guys in the world have about, I think it's 90% of all the girls.
Yeah.
5% of the guys have 90% of all the girls. I think that statistic is right. The one that we talked about. But it's kind of crazy that 5% is the one who,
In terms of like, have like 5% of the guys, in terms of
5%.
because like wealth and status, or just because they have the balls to go talk to
it's
girls?
a mix of a lot of different things. That 5% is included with, like you said, wealth, status, like who you are, like how much money you have, whatever it is. And then also on top of that is like, dude, just how straightforward you are. Like, also good looking guys for another one. But another one is like, how bold you are. I've got my buddies who are, not the best looking guys, or like, not in the best shape, or like, not, tallest guys in the world, but they've got the biggest balls to walk up to any girl and they don't care. And it works. And you're like, how did you do that? Like,
Yes.
like
Yes.
who are you? What did you just do? And it's crazy to see. It's like, it just takes just shooting your shot, man. And that, I think that's a more than just girls. It translates over to life. Just shooting your shot and just like, why not? Worst they could say is no. And that's happened to me so many times in business where it's like, why not just shoot your shot? If it fails, it fails. That's why I started my own businesses. Like, if it fails, it fails. You got your back against the wall, shoot your shot.
We were just doing, it's funny you say that. I was just doing a training and I had a bullet point list of 20 things to effectively connect with the client, build the why, take proper structure of the sale. And the last one, I said, this is the most important. Guess what it was? Is whatever you do, you have to operate with 100% confidence and conviction.
Yeah.
Translates to sales, to getting women. Dude, as long as you have confidence, and you're assumptive, you can get away with a lot more than you think.
It translates over too to real life. I mean, I'm seeing it now as like an influencer.
Yeah.
When all these brands are like, hey, can you promote my product? Stuff like that. And I've promoted products where it's like, it's a cool product, but like, I'm not like in love with it. And you can just see it in my videos where it's like the confidence. It's like, I like it, but like, I'm not like in love with the product, but you can see a product that I love, where it's like how much more genuine it is, how much more like, easy it is to be able to flow into like, pushing towards like wanting to sell it to my friends or, family, or like I actually have people, go buy it because I believe in it. I mean, today's society, I feel like so many people just, half-ass stuff. Having that 100% conviction in anything that you do is how you're going to be able to get to the next level. So
yeah,
I like that you do that with your team.
And because you've done sales before in the past.
I've done sales. I've done multiple types of sales.
You've done door to door.
Done door to door. I actually did insurance sales for a little bit, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
So funny enough, I swear this is a true story. I was Jake from State Farm for a summer. Yeah, I worked at State Farm. So I was an intern, and so basically you just hop on the phones, like, hey, Jake from State Farm, how you doing? Say like, stop prank calling me. I'm like, no, it's actually me. Like, it's like,
you'd almost have to change your name.
Yeah, I know, it's funny, but I end up calling people all the time, and it was cool. Definitely wasn't my job being in an office. I have my ADHD. I couldn't sit still. Like,
yeah,
I was just like, always wanting to do different stuff, and I ended up doing other sales. Like you said, I did door to door in South Florida. I did that after I worked for Happy Dad. And so
pest control,
solar. Yeah. So I worked for Spartan Solar in South Florida. Solar sales was really cool. I enjoyed it because it was like, I love the energy that the team brings. I think the coolest part about solar sales was the energy that like, the team would just be able to like, the relentless consistency. Get on the doors.
Yes.
Every day, knock, more doors, work harder, or you're not going to make money. And I like that mentality of being able to go through life. And that kind of translated over to my businesses where it's like, all right, just keep pushing, make one more post, one more, getting out there. And
dude, I always say I'm going to make my kids do door to door.
You have to. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to spend at least a summer doing door to door.
Yeah. I spent the summer in Miami doing door to door.
Bro, it builds so much character.
Oh my God. When you knock on a door that says no soliciting on the front door and you just keep knocking anyways. Oh my God, you get some death threats. Like I saw some crazy stuff. I had some wild experiences doing that.
Dude,
And
just stuff like you gotta have fun with it though.
oh, I had a
You gotta have fun
blast.
with it.
We'd make up our names. I'd be like, yeah, Dr. Doofenshmirtz up the street. We already put solar on his roof, got him all set up. We'd love to be able to help you out too. And just kind of like having fun time with it, dude. I'd be on like FaceTime with my friends, like walking door to door, and then I'd be like, here, listen to this, and then turn it down and like just give my pitch. And they'd be like, yeah, 6 out of 10. Like they'd hit me with it. So yeah, I think making the best out of any situation that you do, no matter what job you do, no matter where you are with your life, making the best out of any situation is exactly how you're going to be able to feel better, like more success. You're going to feel more confident in yourself, in what you're doing with your life. And also just like happiness is the goal. Like, if you died tomorrow, you're happy with what you're doing, but it's like, if you genuinely have happiness in your life, no matter where you're at, you're going to be able to be, in my mind, that's success. It's just happiness.
That's so good. And transparently, that's one thing I've struggled with
Yeah.
because for not necessarily now, but especially early on, like I was just motivated and fueled just by, to be honest with you, rage. And I was just so obsessed with like, all right, getting to this level, or once I hit this income, or once our business is doing this, and it's always just that the needle is always moving. So one thing I've been very conscious of over the past year and a half and working on myself is just to really enjoy the process.
Yeah.
Enjoy the process and spend more time in gratitude. Like when I wake up, do my breath work, read my Bible, pray, and just be grateful for the blessings I have. Same thing when I go to bed. And just like what you said, and that's so important, is enjoying the small moments. Because especially a lot of hyper successful people, the downfall of a lot of hyper successful people is they're just so they don't take time to smell the flowers.
Yeah.
They're just so focused on, all right, what's next, and that allows them to be successful, but in the process a lot of times they can lose their sense of happiness or peace or joy. So my question to you is, how do you maintain a balance of continually working hard and striving, not getting complacent, while enjoying the process along with that? And what I call it is that balance of blissful discontentment.
Yeah, I think the quality of life definitely just kind of translates over to whatever you're doing. When it comes to work-life balance, I think that's a big thing. Obviously your goal is to be able to make as much money as possible and be as successful as possible when it comes to your businesses. But at the same time, it's like, all right, did I get the time to be able to call my mom today? Did I get the time to be able to check in on my sister, my family, and, dad gets to call on my friends. Did I get time to hang out with my friends who I live with? And that is what I consider somewhere where you can have a healthy balance in life that brings the happiness, is being able to actually like take care of your own personal life while being able to take care of business all at the same time. And that's why I built my teams. Like the teams definitely translate over to that as well. If you have a really crappy team around you, you're not going to be able to have that work-life balance because you're going to be putting it overtime. But if you bring the right people on, I kind of think of this as like a Clash of Clans game.
Yeah.
You're playing Clash Royale and you got your deck of cards, which is your team. And you've got like the different people in your deck that are like the different people that help build you and help you take over the castles. And man, you got your mini pack as somebody who's just like a brute who just goes in, takes it over. You got your skeleton army, all my interns for Stride, all my interns together, taking over the castles, doing stuff like that. Just all these different people that really help you build towards that, just to be able to give you that peace of mind to be able to actually like take care of your time. Because at the end of the day, time is money. That's it. That's why everybody translates over to. When you get really rich, all you want to do is just like, be like, how can I save time? How can I spend more time with my family? How can I save time doing this and doing that? Because at the end of the day, we're all dying slowly. It's like, you got to live life like that.
Have you ever read the book Buy Back Your Time?
I have not read the book yet, but I've heard great things about it.
That's a phenomenal book.
Yeah.
Another good book is Rocket Fuel.
Rocket Fuel. Okay.
Yeah, so that's about successful business partnerships.
Okay.
And the truth is, you're never going to build a big organization being a one-man show.
No.
So you have to bring other people in. And in a way, you really got to set your ego aside and look at, all right, what am I good at? What are you not good at? And how can we leverage our strengths to each other? Because at the end of the day, and the truth is, people are motivated by three things. People are motivated by time, getting their time back, money, or status.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's those three things.
Absolutely.
So playing to that advantage where it's like, when you don't have money, all you're thinking about is money, and you're working as hard as possible to get money. And then when you finally have money, you're thinking, all right, how can I get my time back?
Yeah, 100%.
How can I leverage my money and spend more money to be able to have time?
Yeah, I built a really cool team recently. Kind of trying to get to the next level with all my content and stuff. Built a really cool team of videographers, and not only videographers, but people who are doing like creative, like directing on the back end. And that has changed everything for me. It's opened so many doors because people see cool videos, and like, that's the cool thing about social media is like, that's your marketing strategy right there. But also like, that's how people get connected with other people.
Yeah.
That's opened so many doors for me to get connected to new people, bring on different teams and stuff like that. It's just been amazing, man. Just be able to see how much life has changed really fast, living in different environments and doing different things. So
I love it. I love it. You've also told me, because you worked for the Nelk Boys for a short period of time.
That's a funny story. Yeah. So I used to work for Happy Dad. I worked for Happy Dad in college. I was a brand rep for them. So I used to sell Happy Dads, throw parties in college, and basically host events and basically expand the product to different markets around Tennessee. It was a blast. It was probably one of the most fun jobs we ever had. We used to go, pick up an entire pallet of cases and fill up my Honda Accord with as many cases of Happy Dads as possible, pull up to like different house parties and different events with them. And
dude, that sounds like a terrible job.
It was a horrible job in college with free drinks and just, fun, and like everybody loved it.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool because like also the merch and their marketing strategy was get as many hats as you can and get them on everybody's head. And like to this day, you can even see it. Like you go around town, you see people wearing Happy Dad hats. I feel like you see more people wearing Happy Dad hats than you do see people wearing or drinking Happy Dads. So, but I love that marketing strategy. And that's what I'm trying to implement with Stride, is doing different things, where you see more people wearing and like, creating a brand around different things. And then that leads them into what is Happy Dad, or what is Stride Social? And that leads them back to, what it actually is as a whole. But yeah, Happy Dad was great. Had an absolute blast living with or working with them. Got to meet the Nelk Boys a couple times. Great guys. I love what they're building, what they did. Kyle actually just ran 100 miles recently. That was very impressive.
I saw that
for a YouTuber. Yeah, with my buddy Brad Kraut, absolutely killed it.
How long did it take him to do that?
I think it took him 28 hours or something like that, like to do all that. Like that's insane.
That's impressive.
Yeah, Justin Mira and Mark did that with them. Yeah, but
are you an avid runner, or do you just run the run club?
It's funny. People ask me all the time, like, "Oh, you must be a big runner." I'm like, really?
Like I just lift weights.
No, actually. So I played rugby for 10 years.
Yeah.
And playing rugby, I was a big runner. Just kind of having to run in the sport. And outside of it, outside of practice, I wouldn't really run. But once I lost rugby, I broke my hip my senior year, so I had to medically retire. And once my hip healed up, I was like, all right, I need to do something active again. So obviously lifting has always been big for me. But so I started running, and I never really run more than like 5K, to be honest. I've done a half marathon one time. I kind of raw dogged it. It was actually coming up on a year ago. It hurt in Nashville running the hills, but at the same time, I love running like 5Ks because first thing in the morning, 5K, feel like a fucking tank. Going throughout the day, you just feel like a beast.
Oh yeah,
and just that mental clarity that running gives you is like the best thing ever. The best shape I've ever been in my entire life was when I had the fire under my ass. I broke up with my ex-girlfriend. I was just like, no crazy headspace. And I just put my shoes on, just started running. Just took off.
Oh, dude, the best shape somebody will be in is right after a nasty breakup.
Dude, always the best shape. And I just started running and running and running. And like, that's where it built the consistency. That was the fire for me. And that was the best shape I ever got in. And, once I kind of lost that fire from, got over her, I kind of lost it a little bit, which I, to this day, I still kind of like, try to find new fires and stuff. So I got a question for you. What's your fire? Like, what's the fire under your ass that every day you wake up and you're like, all right, this is why I'm doing this. This is why I'm here. Because everybody's got, I just tell my clients, everybody's got their good fire and their bad fire. I mean, like, the things that like motivate you, like obviously like you want to like, provide for your family and like you want to like, be successful, like show your friends and stuff like that. But your bad fire is like, all right, this pisses me off. I hate, that this happened or something that, in the past, in the future, whatever. What's that fire for you?
So that's a really good question. Really good question. For me, I think I'm a firm believer you don't just have one fire. I think it changes and evolves throughout the years, or sometimes changes week to week, depending on what it is. And so for me, when I first started, I went through a series where I had a 1.9 GPA in high school. Really wasn't really good at anything, and then really wild out after that. Went through a pretty low point in my life, and so for the first couple of years, it was really built on just negativity and just proving everybody wrong and proving to myself that I could actually do that and become successful and build a business. But since then, it shifted from a little bit more selflessly, where for me, I'm really close to everybody we work with, their family. So helping our guys see the same level of success that I've achieved and being able to win with other people. Because I never want to be that rich dude that's just depressed, lonely by himself. We've all seen that. It's just not a good place to be. So if I'm winning, I want to make sure everybody in my circle is winning big.
Love that.
So that's a huge, huge motivator for me. And then secondly would be for my future family. So I've entered a little bit different stage in life where now
married, right?
Married. Yeah. So married, looking to have kids in a couple of years. Not anytime soon.
There you go. Just practicing.
Claudia wants them now. I'm like, we gotta wait. We gotta wait a few years.
There you go.
Looking to have kids in the next couple of years, have a family. So really being able to provide the life for my future family that I want. And then third piece is the ability to give back. So one thing that I'm really involved in is this orphanage. Shout out to Pastor Sammy. So his name's Pastor Sammy.
It's awesome.
And we're super involved in, we're actually going out there. We were supposed to be there this week, but it got canceled because of everything going on in Guadalajara. So we went to Cancun a couple weeks ago, but Guadalajara is a little bit.
Yeah.
That's the bit where we're in the hood when we're going to these orphanages.
Of course.
So we'll wait a couple weeks on that. But Pastor Sammy, so he runs 3 orphanages down there, and if you want something that's really just gonna ground you, and so you like go down there and just hearing these kids' stories of just physical abuse or emotional abuse or different things that they've gone through. And the first time I went down there, I remember it was like about an hour car ride to this one orphanage. And Pastor Tim, he's like telling me like stories that like make you cry and break your heart about just these young kids. And so I don't know what I was going to expect when we went there.
Yeah.
And then we show up and these kids, just how joyful they are and the amount of gratitude and just true happiness that they have.
Yes.
Dude, it rocked me to my soul.
No.
I'm like, all right, if these kids can be this grateful and happy, I have absolutely nothing to be ungrateful for. So we were able to buy a van for them. We just built an entire gym for these kids.
Let's go.
So they got
they got
a ton of weight equipment.
Awesome.
They got a boxing ring in there.
Go.
Ryan, when you're editing this podcast, throw a picture up of the gym for them so they can see it. I could probably pull it. Do you have a picture of it?
No, you have a airdrop picture of it.
I'll show you after this podcast, but it's cool. So doing that, and then just being able to provide back for them. So different things that they need. It would really be those 3 components right there: providing for my future family, providing for the ones that we're in business with, the ones that I consider family. Because I believe you have 2 families: you have the family you're born with and the family you choose.
Hey, remember that.
And so, just helping all my brothers win, and then third piece is being able to give back and help people that are more unfortunate than I am.
It's funny you said that about Guadalajara and like the orphanages and stuff like that, because at a young age, I got to travel the world and really see a lot of different things that opened my eyes to like what really is out there.
Yeah.
I've traveled to so many different countries, all of the United States, even just in the US. The US is so big. There's so many different things in the US that you can see where it just changes your mindset as well.
Yeah.
So my dad was a pilot for Southwest, so I used to have free flights as a kid. It
Nice.
was a cheat code, and I took advantage of it. I used to travel everywhere. But getting out of like what we talked about earlier, the Brentwood bubble of Nashville, where you're in that like super rich environment of like, all these like successful people, happy, healthy, and you get outside that and you're like, well, this is real life. And just even outside of Tennessee, outside of America, like it just really motivates you to be like, okay, my problems aren't really so big as I thought they were. You're worried about closing a deal. These people are worried about getting their next meal, making sure that they survive and just like all this stuff. And it's really eye-opening and really humbling to be able to see those environments, because everybody in America is so spoiled, man. Like we're all so spoiled with our safety, our health and stuff like that. The choices that we have are on our day to day that like are the big choices of the day. It's like, all right, what am I going to order for lunch? It's like, those things are such a opportunity that we have, and we're so lucky. God bless the soldiers for being able to protect that for us. And go to these other countries, like even what's going on in like Middle East right now. It's like they're trying to survive out there. Like you said, Guadalajara. I mean, those orphans are just trying to, just find any happiness. And it's just like you said, smelling the flowers, trying to find the happiness in anything that you do. And that's exactly what happened to me. I wouldn't, so my thing that kind of changed my perspective on life is I went skydiving. I jumped out of a plane and I saw my life flash before my eyes. I'm like, okay, I'm going to die right now. What's important? I looked at my entire life of what I've done up to that point.
Yeah.
I was like, am I happy with what I did? And it's like all kind of hit me really quickly. And I was like, no, I'm not happy with what I did. So far, I'm not happy with like how I've lived my life. And it's like, all right, do I take enough time to spend with my parents and my sister and like the people who I love? I was like, no. I was like, all right. Landed from the skydive. Thank God I survived. And come down, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna change everything I do in my entire life. I saw that life flash before your eyes. Like when you're looking down the barrel of a gun, it's like, all right, what's important now? And that's exactly what I did, and I changed everything. And yeah, I've been much happier, man, ever since. Just doing what makes me happy and what I work towards with my goals. Because somebody asked me the other day, they're like, Jake, what's your dream job? I said, I'm doing it. And they were like really shocked by that. And I was like, it's true. I'm doing everything I would ever want to do right now. They're like, why? Like, why would you not have bigger aspirations? I'm like, I'm living the big aspirations. I'm doing whatever I want to do. It's like, yeah, I'm not making quite as much money as, some of my other friends, but I'm doing exactly what I want to do with my life right here, right now. And I'm going to make it work. It's that relentless consistency to make it work. And just, I'm the happiest I've ever been. I got to say that. So yeah.
And happiness, if you're happy and fulfilled, the success will come. And what I like what you said about choosing happiness, because happiness it truly is a mindset. 100%. You're not just like, people think of it's like, it's raining outside or it's sunny out. It's like they don't have any control over it. It's no, you choose to be happy. Think about the fact that you alluded to this earlier, looking at third world countries. Statistically, you have a 1% chance of being born in America. Yeah. So for everybody watching this, the majority of you live in America. So you had a 99% chance of not being born here. The fact that you were born here, and then you had a 0.00001% chance of even being freaking born. So the fact that you were born and the fact that you're born in America, regardless of your situation, dude, that's something to be stoked about.
Yeah.
I'd be super happy for that. And then also you look at people that are successful versus unsuccessful. Unsuccessful people that don't make money, what do? They blame other people. Oh, it's this thing happened to me, or it's this circumstance, versus entrepreneurs and people that have success or have happiness or have achieved difficult things in their life. They think about, all right, this is the hand I was dealt. How can I use this as leverage in order to become the person that I want to become?
Leverage and motivation, two biggest things.
And in correlation with that, dude, some of the happiest and most successful people I've ever met have had the hardest lives. Yeah. It's interesting. 100%. It's really interesting because I really believe that the light isn't as bright without going through the darkness, and the highs aren't as high without going through the lows.
I like that.
And so just having that perspective, and in correlation that some of the most unhappiest people I've ever met are the people that have had a great life or have never had to struggle.
100%. I think that everybody,
interesting.
I love the way that you said that everybody has to go through the darkness to see the light. And that's so true. And I think that even when in business, like yourself, you were on the phones at one point, you were doing the tough work to be able to get to the point where you're at.
Oh yeah.
And it's just those things where you have to go through hard struggles to be able to actually like have that fire to be able to, get to the next level. If it's all dandelions and rainbows, you're not going to be as motivated. When you see some crap in your life, when you see some shit, then you're actually going to be motivated a lot harder to be able to get out of that and be like, nah, I never want to go back to that, to be able to get further into the future.
What's some adversity you faced that you flipped that in order to find success? What's some adversity or hardship you faced in your life that you've flipped that and you've allowed to find success?
I think, so I moved on to Fort Lauderdale after college, signed a 15-month lease, and I was working with Happy Dad. Happy Dad moved me across the country to start working with them. Signed a 15-month lease. The day after I moved down there, Happy Dad called me like, hey, we're letting you go. Good luck. I was like, wow.
The day after.
Like a day or two after, yeah. I was like, this is going to suck. And I had back against the wall, so I just picked up odd jobs. I got a backpack full of resumes. I was like, all right, I literally watched a David Goggins video and it said, nobody's coming to save you. Okay, nobody's coming to save me. I gotta do something like this. I gotta get out of this situation. It's on me. I'm by myself. I'm in a city where I don't know anybody. So I got a backpack full of resumes. I went around the city, picked up 4 jobs in 2 weeks. Door-to-door solar sales, working as a server, working at a gym, powerhouse as a trainer, and then working at a club as a promoter. Through doing all those jobs, I started to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And because I was sitting there, like the complacency thing. I was working all those jobs, but I wanted to find a way out. I want to find my way to happiness. You know, what I was doing, I'm always happy no matter where I'm at, what I'm doing, because I always make the best out of any situation. I hated serving tables, but man, did I have fun doing it, you know? Like I hated door-to-door solar sales. However, I had fun doing it, you know, because I made the best of it. I was doing fun stuff. But it was long-term play. You're thinking about, all right, my family, my future, my legacy. How am I going to be able to build that? I'm not going to build a legacy doing what I'm doing now. So I made a pivot and started Rathletics Performance, my personal training company. Started helping people, you know, coach through personal training. I've been a trainer in person for the past, 4 years before that. Started get personal training when I was 18. Started at Gold's Gym as a trainer. I got certified when I was just turned 18. Started training there. It was super fun. I got kind of thrown into the fire with training. Didn't really know what I was doing. Got certified and they're like, hey, go train this person. I was like, what do I do? I just got certified online. And when trained them, one person led to another. Next thing you know, I became a decent trainer and translated that over to South Florida and started Rathletics. And man, it was a struggle at first. I was definitely, eating, not the best food every day. I wasn't really, as in a very amazing place in my life physically, to be able to go do all this different stuff. Financially, especially, I was very broke at the time. But I just kept pushing, man. I just kept putting myself in different rooms, getting those social environments. And that led me into, owning, or like we talked about earlier, sponsoring the Run Club, owning the Run Club. And that owning a social environment has showed me so much. Like, why would you not get out there? If you're in a position right now in your life where you're an entrepreneur or want to be an entrepreneur and you're like, want to start your own businesses, get out of the house.
Yes.
Go meet the best people that you can meet, and you never know. If I can take one piece of advice and drop it down, say it's one person can change your entire life. All it takes is one person, because that one person can introduce you to a whole group of other people. That one person can help you with your business. That one person can help you find God. That one person can just be able to provide that peace and happiness to you through just anything. That's what's helped me so much in my life, because there's been so many of those one persons or one people in my life that have just changed everything for me in different paths and different, opportunities for me. I've, met a couple different people who I can name off the top of my head. This girl named Ella Caggiano, who I think introduced me to you, which is crazy. But Ella has changed my life tremendously. I've been starting on my 3rd tech startup right now. It's called Top Set Fitness. We're basically about to launch here soon, but she's helped me more than I can even explain on that. Like, this girl has stepped up to the plate even when I wasn't able to pay her what I wanted to pay her, and she stepped up to the plate and just took over and just did the best she ever could, and she was there for me whenever I needed it. And she's been my best friend ever since, and it's been phenomenal to be able to show that. And one day when I make it, one day when I get to the point where I'm financially blasting, doing all that, I'm gonna take care of her, reciprocate that. All that to be said, there's been many of those one people in my life. Obviously my parents growing up, took care of me, but in college, you meet the one person who just introduces you to a whole new group of people. There's this one guy in Nashville, his name's Smitty, Christian Smith, I like to call him. Dude is Mr. Socialite of Nashville. He knows everybody. He introduced me to so many people who are now my great friends, but it all started from that one person. Mm-hmm. So getting in different environments in life just to meet different people will open your eyes to the world and give you so many different opportunities.
Yeah, man, that's so good. That's so good. As I'm listening to you, it's a few things stand out to me where you move down here and then you move down for the job that you get fired from a day, 2 days later. And instead of curling up in a ball, like some people do, or thinking about, oh God, or what do I do? Or I also have ran into this where, it's find happiness, find joy, but there's also such a thing as toxic positivity, where you hear people, they're like, oh,
I love that.
It's going to be okay. Or, God's going to provide. Or like you literally talk to them and their life is literally falling apart and they just they're not phased. They're like,
nobody's coming for you.
Yeah.
Nobody's coming to help you.
It's nobody's coming to save you. So you're not in a good spot.
Yeah.
But bro, you're literally you're working 4 jobs.
Yeah.
You're working 4 jobs to put yourself in a better situation. And through that process is like, God says, I will provide, but he doesn't tell you to be lazy. He doesn't tell you just to be blind. No, he provides by giving you the opportunity to work hard, by giving you the opportunities to get out of your current position. So you're not in a good financial situation. You don't have money. You're not able to eat the way you want to do or do what you want to do. But you're working hard, and then from the hard work, you're finding joy throughout the process, working on getting to the place where you need to become.
I'm one of those guys where no matter what position I'm in, and here's the thing about happiness, real quick. You're gonna do stuff in business that you hate. I do stuff like I run fun businesses and run, my dream jobs right now, but I still do stuff that I hate. Everybody's gotta do their taxes and everybody's gotta do, different computer work and do different stuff in your job that you really don't like to do. But I keep a smile on my face the whole damn time. Like I genuinely try to be that light for my company and to be able to show that to, all the people who work for me and just show them like, no matter what you're doing, you can still be happy.
Yeah.
You can still, no matter how much it sucks, keep a smile on your face and always just look for the next break. When you're able to go to the gym. The gym is where also provides a lot of happiness too.
Yes.
Keep that mental fitness and physical fitness is huge for happiness. But yeah, man, it's kind of crazy with everything, just nobody's coming for you. You ever seen The Bear?
The Bear.
The Bear. It's a TV show. There's a famous quote. It's like, all right, fuck you, watch this. You ever heard of that?
Yeah, I've heard that quote.
Yeah. All right, fuck you, watch this. And that's exactly what I did with Happy Day. I was like, all right, watch this. I'm gonna go do my own thing. And I went out there and just did it, man. And it's crazy because it's just slowly over the past 6 months, my life has changed so much. And, this was 2 years ago when that happened. It just slowly just keeps changing every day. And it's like, keep putting one foot in front of the other, and eventually you'll get to the light at the end of the tunnel. No matter how long it takes, it's just like keep pushing every single day. And like I said, and like you talked about earlier, setting that example for the people who work for you is huge. Being able to be that person that is the happy person, but also not the person who's just like feeling bad for everybody.
Yes.
You don't want to feel bad for everybody. You want to be that person who's like for instance, my buddy, I felt horrible the other day. I was talking to him like, yo, can you send me this stuff? I need you to get this done. He's like, bro, I'm at my dad's funeral. I'm like, oh shit. I felt so bad. I talked to him afterwards. He's like, bro, I'm down bad. I'm like, all right. What I did, I've had a family member pass before. I was like, use that as your fuel.
Yeah.
Your dad would want you to be in the best position you can be in. Obviously, you're in the shape place for life, but nothing's going to change. You got to use that as fuel to be able to get out, go to the gym. My best thing that I ever tell my clients is take the pain out on the weights.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or just go run. Just get out. If you're having a really bad day, if you're stuck on your phone, you just can't get off, or you had something really bad happen in your life, just go put your shoes on, just go run, man. Leave your phone at home. I do that all the time. Just go run.
That's the best kind of therapy.
Dude, I tell you what, man.
So talking to somebody for 2 hours about how you feel and how sad you are and them validating you, go out and go run.
Go run, man. Go run. Go for a run. Go do all this different stuff. And that's also why I like the social environments too.
That's phenomenal. And I don't actually want to touch on what you said, because my mom, she passed away when I was 14. And so that for a long time it was negativity, but then to your point, I was able to channel that into something positive and really build something. Because if you have a spouse or loved one that passed away, think about, all right, well, if that loved one and they truly love you, would they want you curled up in a ball in your bedroom or playing video games or doing nothing? Or they want you to go out there and make them proud and really do something with your life?
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, just having that perspective is everything.
That's the fire, man. That's the fire that just gets you going throughout the day. It's that mindset. It's just like, all right, what fuels you? And like the same thing at the end of the day, no matter how bad of a situation, your family dies, friends die, whatever, and go through it. At the end of the day, if they're your family or friends, they want you to be happy. They want you to find that happiness. They don't want you to, if my friends and family, if I were to die today, and I would tell them, be like, yo, I want you to live your life if I can leave a legacy at the end of the day for you guys, it'd be to just live your life to the fullest. Be as happy as you can. If you're not in a happy environment, get out. Find a way out to be able to put yourself in an environment that makes you happy, that makes you want to be able to live life to the fullest, go travel the world, go see amazing things. Traveling's, that's a whole nother aspect of life. But
that's so, I want to touch on what you said too, because that's so important, because if you're not in a healthy relationship, if you're in a toxic relationship, it's okay to leave. This may be controversial, but I'm a firm believer. It's just because, again, I said earlier, you have two types of family: the family you're born with and the family you choose. If your family members are negative or they're not, it's not healthy to be around them, it's okay to cut them off. Doesn't mean you don't love them.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean, but you don't have to talk to them every day. You don't have to be around them. Like, put yourself in a position where you're able to become the person you want to be, because I think a lot of us are stuck in this trap where we're unhappy, but we're too afraid to make a move because it's uncertain, or we don't know what we're going to do, or there's risk, or we have people in our life that are holding us back and don't want us to go to that next level.
And there's different kinds of friends too. I think that, everybody has those different friends where it's like, I have that one friend that I can call and like talk to about anything, that they're a listener. I've got another friend that I tell them about anything, they're just going to give me the whole honest truth. Like, they're like straightforward, down to earth. They're like, all right, don't do that. Or like, whatever.
Yeah.
Then you have your like going out friends. I think going out friends are a very interesting one. Everybody has that crowd. Like, if you've gone out to the bars and clubs and that I've seen, you can see like, you got those guys and friends that you see out all the time. Once you stop going out, you'll see actually who your friends are out of that group, and like who actually like reaches out to you, and stuff like that when you stop drinking and doing stuff. And that definitely translates over to like, all right, who actually has the balance with life? It's all about balance at the end of the day. That's what it comes down to. But the different friends in life are definitely the different paths that you're able to get you to where you want to be. Be able to have those positive friends, but also have the friend that's going to be able to provide that negativity where it's needed is huge.
Yes.
Where it's needed is massive.
Constructive feedback.
Constructive feedback.
That's it.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's all it is. Constructive feedback and honesty. And I would say, for me, I'm very similar with mentors, where you've all heard the advice: never take advice or mentorship from somebody you wouldn't trade places with.
Boom. Ding.
That's it. And so for me in my life, I have different mentors, where I have a faith and spiritual mentor, Pastor Sammy. I've got a business mentor. I actually have multiple business mentors. I got a fitness coach. Shout out to Danny. Danny Tran?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Danny.
Shout out Danny. Swole, dude. Oh my God. He's massive. I need to hit a lift with him.
He's helping me put on a couple. Dude, you hit a lift with Danny, you're going to puke.
Yeah.
He goes hard.
He's a legend.
I didn't think it was possible to puke when you're weightlifting, but especially legs.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
You're rolling out of the gym in a wheelchair. But I could ask you 20 more questions, but we're out of time. So in closing, what would you say? Because I know there's going to be the 20, 22-year-old watching this, where maybe they're in a place where in a life where they're in that season where they're broke, or they're not where they want to be, or they're struggling, they're stressed, and they really don't know what to do, and they're struggling to find happiness throughout that. What advice would you give to that person?
Man, that's such a good question, because there's so many pieces of advice that I would give to that 22-year-old. Basically myself, and 22 is kind of what I'm looking at. I think the biggest piece of advice would be find your passion and find a way to get there. You're going to have to go through, different hoops to be able to get to where you want to be. But at the same time, always keep that end goal in mind. And, for me, that was health and fitness, and how I can be able to make a living out of that. And I had to go through all these other hoops of, doing door-to-door solar sales, working tables and stuff like that. And I would say keeping that end goal in mind, because I'm still not there yet. My goal is to own a chain of gyms in the future. So keep that end goal in mind and use that as your motivation to be able to get to where you want to be, and push harder every single day and put one foot in front of another. And next thing you know, you're going to look up and you're going to be there.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So,
Jake, appreciate you hopping on the pod, brother.
I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Let's make it a week.
Let's go, brother. Let's make some money.